Bro. All right. We're here.
1 year.
1 year, man.
1 full year with my first client. Literally.
Yeah.
You're my first client.
Dude, I remember when actually a year ago when I was telling Amy, like, I've been going to the gym for 5 years and I don't look like it. that's how it started. And then I went online and I had saw like that you were going to start something. And
yeah,
I'm just super thankful.
Yeah, man. What caught you? What caught your eye with my online training? Like what first like sunk you for it?
I think for me, like, I was going to the gym. My fitness journey started really 12 years ago. Pre getting married. It's like that was the motivation. Like, I'm gonna get married. I want to look good for my wife. And I started with the home stuff.
Okay.
And then I started going to the gym for about 5 years. And when I saw what you had with Humbold, it was so appealing because it was 24/7 access to a coach. Mm-hmm. And that's rare. Like, to know that being in the gym, my coach was going to be with me, coaching me that time, like saying, this is what your form needs improvement on, or here's your program. Like, I think that's what really caught me to Humboldt, is knowing you're not doing this on your own anymore.
Right.
There's one thing for me to do it with a YouTube video, one thing for me to do it with a printed out program, but even with the 5 years, like, I was just taking carbon copies of what existed,
right,
and trying my best to figure it out.
Implement yourself.
But then all of a sudden I see Humboldt's like, no, like, I'm here for you. Like, I'm going to be walking with you through this, coaching you. And that to me is what sold me. Like,
that's awesome, man.
Just having you there.
I remember when you first came to me, he was like, dude, I saw your bio handle on Instagram and it says you can make me like your favorite superhero.
Yes.
Like, make me like Captain America.
That's it, man. Like, and that was like one of the selling points too, is like, I love that. So, grew up on anime, grew up on Marvel, like, that's a part of who I am.
Yeah,
and now my son, he's 7, we're watching stuff together, and it's like, he's like, I want to look like Goku. And I'm like, well, I know the guy that can help you look like Goku when it's ready. But I think that was it, like, too, like, I just love that about what you stand for. It's like, you've got that in you. You want to look like these, fictitious characters. Well, guess what? They don't have to be fictitious.
Right,
like,
right. Yeah.
And when I came to you a year ago, like, I never thought that I'd actually, like, do it.
Yeah.
But you were like, no, like, you can do it. Like, you want Cap, we're gonna make you Cap.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna do what we have to. Right. So, and I knew it was the whole approach too. It wasn't just in the gym, it was in the kitchen.
Yeah.
It was the nutritional side,
mm-hmm.
which you knew. Like, when I first came to you, I mean, you can speak to that, how I felt about food, how much you had to walk me through.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
The first month, second month, third month, like.
Yeah. The barriers that you broke through during this entire year, you broke through so many barriers, and in the beginning you weren't aware of it, but then as you started progressing through it, I think you start realizing, like, food is something that we should have a healthy relationship with.
Yep.
In the very beginning, I mean, you can tell me, but like in the beginning, you're just like, all right, I just want to be as lean as possible. I don't want size.
Yep.
I don't want to put on like a whole lot of muscle. I just want to be lean. And then after a certain point, you finish that phase, like, oh, well, I actually put on muscle during this time. Maybe let's try to push the envelope a little bit.
Yeah.
So maybe you can talk a little bit about that, about the nutritional aspect.
I think for
the mental
me,
behavior.
It was definitely mental. And for me, the nutritional narrative that I embraced is the common one of the healthiest way to approach nutrition is to get on a scale and watch the number go down.
Yeah.
And that was the singular metric that I used.
Right.
And it didn't just take place when I was on the scale. It took place at parties. Mm-hmm. It took place at family dinner. It took place all throughout the day. And my approach to nutrition, really summed up in a word, was fear.
Yeah.
If I overeat, the scale number is going to go up, and I'm going to undo everything I'm doing in the gym. And you can't put on, weight and muscle and all of this, and that narrative had to be broken. And I remember, like, having some real, like, hard conversations with you.
Yeah.
And honestly, you being hard with me, like, hey, there's something going on here, and that's the mental approach. There's like this fear of food. You've got to be okay with shifting that approach to food. And like you said, that word relationship, like having a healthy relationship with the food that we put in our body. Food's not the enemy. It's how we approach it. And that for me broke after a few months, because I still remember, like, we started with almost a cut. So it kind of helped me, Because, okay, good, cut's good. Yeah, less food. Awesome, Steve. You know exactly what I want. Like, less food is where it's at.
Right.
But then it was like, all right, man, now it's time to put on muscle. And to do that, you've got to start eating more. And, like, what do you mean have a bowl of oatmeal? Like, I avoid that. Like, what do you mean have a potato? Carbs are bad. Like, that's a narrative.
Yeah.
And now it's like, no, man, where's my cream of wheat? Like, where is it? I need it every single day. Like, and it's an approach though. I'm like, what's shifted for me is when I get here, when I'm in the gym, I'm not coming in thinking I have to work off yesterday's food. I'm thinking yesterday, this is fuel for what I'm going to do tomorrow.
Yes, and that's the right
that
thinking.
mindset is completely different.
Right.
And it's like, that's another aspect of Humboldt. Like, you're not just learning the coaching here in the gym. You're getting the coaching holistically of how you approach your food, whether you are on vacation, whether you're a party, whether it's the 9 to 5 normal eating patterns, and then how we're going to use it and we're going to apply it in the gym to get some gain.
I don't want people to think that I just want them to be meek people either.
Yeah.
I want there to be a boldness about it. I want there to be courage. When you come to the gym, you're coming here to not just humble yourself, but to be bold as well, to be courageous. Sometimes you have to push yourself a little bit. Sometimes you got to pick up weight that you don't feel comfortable with. And that's another thing we can talk about. Bro. Because after we hit the cutting phase, we finish the cutting phase, we're like, all right, what do we want to do now? Let's go into a maintenance, and let's go into a bulk. And that's where we broke through even more barriers.
Oh my goodness. The mental barriers in the gym, and you talk about that boldness, and that's now a year after. I can get underweight that during, I'd say like month 4 or 5, once we started shifting, and all of a sudden I see on the program, bench 225. And I'm like, bench 225, bench 255? Like, I can't get under that weight. You know, squat for me was the 315. Like, once I'm seeing 345s on each side, I'm like, there's no way. Like, I literally would wake up and look at my program like, Steve's going to kill me today. He wants to squash me. Like, no, wait, boldness. Like, if coach is saying do this, it's because you're seeing my capability before I can see it.
Yeah. Right.
And, you know, deadlift too. And even just like the dumbbell movements of picking up 90s or 100s, 110 on an incline press and getting under that weight was something that's another barrier to break. And that's what comes when you have coaching from Humboldt.
Right.
You're going to get that boldness in the gym to show up, one, with the knowledge. So you've been working on form. You're not just going in and like, oh, you're new to the gym? Yeah, get under 315 and squat. No, we're going to get you there. So that's the knowledge that comes. So now you go in, even I call it gym math. Like, I remember when I started, like, I had to take out my calculator, like, all right, if it's 235, the bar's 45, and I'm like, no, now, okay, you put that, I got the knowledge. That came from coaching.
Especially with my increments, too, because if I don't push my client just, like, by 20 pounds, 25 pounds, 35 pounds, 45, I'll make you just go up 5 pounds one day.
That's it.
And you're like, I got to throw 2.5.
I got 2.5. Yeah, like, how do I add this? But that's the knowledge that comes from proper coaching. It's the confidence and the boldness that comes. So now you show up to the gym, and, man, I'm just so thankful. 1 year later, to see where I'm at, to have that humility, to have the nutritional approach. And I would say, you know, if you're like sitting there saying, should I do this? You're watching, you're hearing the story of 1 year, like, Humboldt is for anyone. So whether you're new to the gym, whether like me, I was going to the gym for 5 years, I needed the right direction. It was great, but maybe you want to get started. Yo, why start wrong? Like, get started right so that way you can just go in and overcome these barriers. I mean, I'm going to be 33 this month. And I'm like, man, all of my 20s, I missed out on gains. But I'm not missing out on gains in my 30s and my 40s and all of that.
Speak yourself now.
Because I've got the boldness now to do it. So I would just encourage you guys, like, you're watching this, you're saying, should I do this? Like, there is no should I. If you've got nutritional goals, if you've got fitness goals, if you've got that superhero, that anime character, you say, I want to be him, I want to be her. You got to reach out, and Steve will tell you exactly where to find them.
Just DM me and DM what I love it. Sometimes I've gotten people that have reached out to me over because obviously I do mainly online coaching. I've gotten people that reach out to me and just send me like, here's Goku, and they'll send me a picture of Goku, or here's Piccolo. They'll send me a picture of Piccolo, or here's Superman. Here's a picture of Superman. You know. I love that, and you know, and when I interview people, and when I'm doing a sales call with people, sometimes I'll ask them point blank, who do you want to look like? That's from the very beginning, because of, you know, we got to visualize exactly what the goal is, And that's why, even though it sounds silly, like if you want to look like Captain America, that's a lot of size. You want to look like Spider-Man, that's a lot of leanness.
Yes.
That's a lot of isometric hold. That's a lot of like, calisthenics type of workout. You want to look like Batman, you got to do a whole bunch of compound exercises, kind of like what you kind of went through. So guys, yes, Keith has worked with me for over a year, and he's here as a testament that this is his final week with me, and he's breaking away because he's built up a foundation. He's built up knowledge working with me, and I'm not saying it's all from me. Like it's a reciprocal relationship. I had the knowledge, and I had, like I said, point and shoot, and he went that direction, and he followed it. And he broke through so many barriers in this year, and he's learned so much that he feels confident. And this is what I want. I don't want any of my clients to stay with me forever. If they truly want to stay for a few years, that's great. But I want them to come to a point where Keith is at, where he's like, I have the knowledge, I have the base, I've learned so much. I know I can train myself now.
Yeah.
He's gone through a full cut. He's gone through a full maintenance point. He's gone through reverse dieting. He's gone through bulking. Now we've gone back to cutting again. And we went full circle. We started out with me at like just below 165, right?
Yes. Yep.
And we went up to 185, a little bit above. Yeah. We put on so much size, and then people. It's funny because we look at the transformation picture 1 year, like, oh, he only went up like 2 pounds for a whole year. But you look at his body; it's completely different. And there's no love handles. Before he had a dad bod. Now he has the superhero bod.
That's it.
So it's really humbling for me because of like I never thought my first client would be literally my best client.
Yeah, man.
And God's good in that way because of like I needed it. I needed to show that I needed to show the world online around that I knew what I was doing, and having you as one of my first clients is truly amazing. It's been a humbling experience. It's been very gratifying. And dude, I gotta say,
bro,
I'm so happy to have you as my first client. I'm so happy to see you go.
Yes.
Even though it's sad, it's also happy for me because, like I said, like seeing you as an embodiment of what I've learned over the years, and it's just awesome, man. It really is.
Dude,
it's so cool.
Thank you, Coach, man. It's been a journey. It's not over. And you said it from the beginning. I remember the first time we talked, you said, I'm not looking for lifetime clients. My hope is that I would help my clients succeed so that they can do this. And that right from the front, that's your humility as a coach. You're saying, what does Coach want? He wants you to succeed. He wants you to be able to show up here, put in the work, and get it done. And so, bro, thank you. Been a great journey. Humbold's about to blow up, and you're about to be a part of it. Bro, let's hit these weights.
Yeah, let's go.